So you guys tuned in to another Lived Experience podcast with Greg Cox. Thank you for joining. So look, I want to take a moment and to tell you about how I decided to write this book. This book here, Promising the Moon, Going the Distance to Deliver. I remember being at, and I was actually in Springfield. I remember being at an event. I was the keynote speaker, and it was over 300 social workers there, and they asked me to be the keynote speaker, and I was the keynote speaker, and I was excited. This was one of my very first large speaking engagement and sharing my lived experience, right? And so I showed up at the event. Of course, I was nervous and excited all at the same time. I was thinking about how I was going to say what, how much time I had, and all of that. I started my lived experience message, right? And it was amazing. I was amazed, right, to be able to make that great impact with over 300 to 400 child welfare workers, social workers, providers, and different individuals that was at this conference. And when I got done, they clapped for me. They gave me the claps and appreciate me and all of that. And I had people standing in line to shake my hand, to congratulate me and what I was doing and the success that I was having. And there was this one guy. I'm gonna get back to the book. There was this one guy stood in line, and he waited patiently. And it was like 5 or 6 people in front of him, and he waited. And he got to me, and he shook my hand. He said, "Great keynote. You did an amazing job." He said, "Look around." I looked around. He said, "Tell me what you see." I said, "I see peoples. I see men, women." He said, "Okay, you missed it." He said, "Look around again." I looked around again. Now, by this time, I'm like, okay, where we going with this, man? Where we going? So I looked around again. He said, "What you see?" I said, "I see Caucasian, blacks, brown people, women, men." He said, "Okay, you missed it again." I said, "Okay, now what? What did I miss?" He said, "You don't have a table." He said, "You don't have a table." He said, "Where's your book?" He said, "If you'd have had a book at this event here, and you'd have sold a book, you'd have had a table with your book," he said, "you would have left here with more money than you did when you came." He said, "Now grant you, I know that they paid you for the keynote speaking. That's good." He said, "But you left some money on the table." I smiled at him and looked at him because there was some more people behind him. He didn't say it real loud. I smiled at the people, shook the people's hand, but that man message stayed with me for the rest of the day. I went back to the hotel and I started writing this book. 6 months to a year later, police not after me. They ain't after me. I'm good. That ain't my lived experience now. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. The timing was good. They ain't coming for me. I'm good. That's how Promising the Moon, Going the Distance was developed. It came from me speaking at an event and I didn't have a table. And 6 months later, I released this book, Promising the Moon. Hey, look, your lived experience is monetarial. There's a blessing in it, not only for you, but for someone else. Let's get started. Thank you for joining.